This evening, let's explore open-eyed meditation. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This evening, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as profoundly as Rey Skywalker on Ajan Kloss under the guidance of General Leia Organa, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. I must tend to something oopsie, that's odd. Let's see. If at any point during this evening's live stream you have a question about meditation, or philosophy, or even chanting, there is no need to be shy. Simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. I'll be right back. This evening, let's explore open-eyed meditation. V on Reddit asked, can anyone provide more insight on meditating with open eyes? V continued, I've been meditating for 6 or 7 years now, most recently transcendental meditation. V continued, I have come to the conclusion that I am a bit too aware and perceptive of my bodily functions, heartbeat, tingling, etc., which often leads to heightened anxiety on occasion. So I'm going to take a quick break from V's questions. V, you're not alone. Many people who practice the teachings of the TM organization report the same phenomena. They've reported that phenomena to me, and in my conversations with them, I've seen them. These people who are very, very committed to meditation behave as if they were experiencing heightened degrees of anxiety. This situation that you're experiencing is not an indictment against you. You're a good-hearted person who receives some teachings and you're practicing them enthusiastically. They are an indictment on how well or unwell these teachings are serving you. Not all techniques benefit all people the same way. What separates the adults from the kids is not whether or not how things affect us, but whether we have the mindfulness to notice how things are affecting us. If things are increasing or decreasing our wisdom and our peace and our love and our joy. Another thing that sets adults apart from children is the courage to say, okay, this isn't working for me, I'm going to make some changes. So the very fact, V, that you have the intellectual integrity to recognize when things aren't working for you and the courage to try to make changes is awesome. To you I give a chef's kiss. Let's continue. V also wrote, I have found I have an extremely easy time going inside, but lack the same focus in an outward fashion. Given the realization, I'd love to explore meditating with my eyes open and using an anchor, whatever the actual practice may entail. So I'm going to read for you the response I crafted 6 days ago, and perhaps some additional teachings as well. Perhaps you are like me and also were raised where contemplatives in magazines, movies, and artwork were depicted as sitting with their eyes closed, faces turned upward towards the heavens, so utterly blissed out that they had become utterly oblivious to the world around them. But what has that to do with empathy? I am reminded of an episode of the Colbert Report where the host peered into the camera and announced that world hunger must have ended because he just ate lunch. It comes as little surprise that mindfulness is necessary for empathy, no less enlightenment. A Kagyu Lama first directed me to the sevenfold posture of Vairochana, popular amongst purveyors of the Mahayana doctrine, wherein the eyes were relaxed and gazing softly downward. The teachings of the Nyingma Tulku Sokyal Rinpoche informed me that closing one's eyes in meditation was tantamount to closing one's eyes to the rest of the world and in all its glories and grotesqueries, deficiencies, and excesses, outer and inner. Although open-eyed mindfulness is important, it is not a panacea. For although it could notify us about the anxieties skulking about the catacombs of our heart, it cannot alleviate them. Relief comes from mental release rooted in the physical relaxation latent within every exhalation. Observe passively and vulnerably with each inhalation, relax and release with each exhalation, and before you know it, you too could meditate like a Jedi. Whew. Before we sally over to this evening's guided meditation, what I'd like to do is spend less than a minute on housekeeping. Every 12 hours, I broadcast a live meditation class without any ads. With your help, this channel could support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick-and-mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If you'd like to help out, even for as little as the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month, simply use the camera on your smartphone to capture this QR code, or scroll down and click one of the donation links in the description area below the video. I will be right back. Let's warm up the neural pathways responsible for empathy and enthusiasm. Let's see. By chanting bodhicitta and refuge. Now, I'm having a difficulty with the green screen. I don't think I can fix that now, so let's just take off. Oh, my perfectionistic tendencies are barking at me, but there's nothing I can do. So here we go. May I liberate all beings by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. Let us chant a translation of the Heart of Wisdom Sutra. It is said that Quan Chi Yin possess an archetype of enlightened compassion, while moving in the deep peace of perfect understanding, shed light on the five aggregates and found them equally empty. After this realization, she made peace with all pain. So let's explore this for a moment. The promise is not that you meditate and you won't have pain. The promise is that if you meditate correctly, you'll be able to make peace with the pain. It won't make you quite so nutty. But what is meant by emptiness? If we take a literal approach to emptiness, it could push us into skullduggery or superstition. I don't recommend either. So let's explore emptiness figuratively. We practice the essence of mindfulness when during our inhalation we mentally recite "notice this," and we do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and spontaneously. We practice the essence of meditation when during our exhalation we mentally recite "relaxing." Coordinating these intentions with our inhalation and our exhalation helps us to make the most of both our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. But what has that to do with emptiness? When during our exhalation, our body relaxes and our mind releases, then that which we perceived during our inhalation now begins to feel as non-graspable, wait for it, as if it was a vast, empty void. Now, a simile is only as effective as it is relatable. So, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast, empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, could be intangible to the touch? That's it. Emptiness is just a figure of speech to express the visceral experience of exhaling in a way that wherein our intention has been harmonized with our factory installed wiring. Gonna check for questions real quick. Let's see. Schadenfreude 80. Well, welcome aboard. Okay, so let's continue with our chanting. Listen, Jodi Buddha, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Form does not differ from emptiness, emptiness does not differ from form. By the way, if you want a free PDF of the stuff I'm chanting, contact me through the information on my profile, and I'll be happy to email it to you. The same is true with healing or praise on impulse and awareness. Listen, Jodi Buddha, all phenomena, all marked with emptiness. If you're watching on the video app right now, and you want to download this free stuff you see me using, just use one of the many links in the description area below the video. If you're watching on the clock app, those links aren't available. I'm sorry. But there is information, there is a link in my profile. But let's continue. They are neither produce nor destroy, neither corrupted nor purified, neither increasing nor decreasing. So when grappling with the duality, an effective contemplation would be the rhetorical question, this and that, how not to? Therefore in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no appraisal, no impulse and no awareness that once perceived cannot be released. So this is what I like to call an inferential double negative. We see it a lot amongst the stuffed shirt set in Washington. Well, I do not disagree with you. The basic message of this sutra is whatever we notice, we can release through the cunning use of our autonomic nervous system. No sensation, no flavor, no scent, no sound, no sight, no phenomena that once perceived cannot be released. No body, no tongue, no nose, no ears, no eyes, no mind that once perceived cannot be released. No feeling, no tasting, no smelling, no hearing, no seeing, no noticing that once perceived cannot be released. So this threefold way of dealing with our various senses sometimes boils down to this. What observing? Relaxing. What feeling? Relaxing. Who's feeling? Relaxing. These things will not necessarily make horrible people stop doing horrible things, but it will help us to let go and make peace with whatever three-ring circus we seem to have parachuted into. No interdependent origins or no extinction of them, from confusion to aging and death that once perceived cannot be released. No stress, no exacerbation, no liberation, no path. No understanding, no attainment that once perceived cannot be released. Because there is no attainment that once perceived cannot be released. The Bodhisattva archetypes of enlightenment supported. Mother perfection of understanding, find no obstacles for their mind. Oopsie, take two. Mother perfection of understanding, find no obstacles for their minds that once perceived cannot be released. So that's important. It's not that there are no obstacles, it's that there are no obstacles that once noticed we can't release. In other words, if there is a yapping chihuahua of a problem biting our proverbial ankle, once we notice it, we can release it. Having no obstacles that once perceived cannot be released, they transcend the tyranny of fear, liberating themselves forever from the tyranny of illusion in realizing perfect nirvana. All Buddhas of the past, present, and future, thanks to this perfect understanding, arrive at full right and universal enlightenment. And therefore one should know that perfect understanding is like a great mantra, is like an unequaled mantra, the destroyer of all suffering, the incorruptible truth. A mantra prajnaparamita's perfect understanding could therefore be proclaimed. This is the mantra gate gate para samgate bodhiswaha. May also notice, relax, and release that we go completely and perfectly go to enlightenment. Well, now that we've all decided we want to go to enlightenment, let's meditate. The simplest way to meditate is, as I mentioned, to mentally recite, notice this, relaxing in harmony with our breathing. Now, first things first, I'm going to sit my tuchas upon a circular cushion known by some as a zafu. Those of us with bone spurs at the tops of our femurs, bone spurs that slice into the linings of our hip sockets, have to keep switching positions in order to tolerate sitting. Rather than ignoring your needs, I recommend meeting them in the most efficient way you can conceive. Hey, Ellie, welcome aboard. I should really use my magnifying glass. That would make life easier. There we go. And I cannot pronounce that. I'm sorry. So let's meditate. It's 25 minutes after the hour. Let's go for it. Oh yes, one of my first meditation teacher really recommended sucking in your gut as you breathe in, relaxing your gut as you breathe out. I found this really helps with posture. Someone wrote they cannot see auras. The neat thing is we don't need to see auras to heal them. When we perform metta meditation, wishing others optimal circumstance or optimal bodies or optimal relationships or optimal minds, the power of our love is enough to affect others regardless of our metaphysical bag of tricks. Okay, someone asked, so if I feel emotional damage, that would make it difficult. Well, forgive me, I'm a little, I have difficulty with pronouns. Like I have trouble figuring out what that means, but if you have emotional damage, I apologize. Been there, done that. My heart goes out to you. Sadly, when we are emotionally damaged, we often go through life with a bullseye on our back, where cruel people or predators or just fools pelt us with very hurtful words. Fortunately, evolution has given us a way to cope with emotional wounds. Externally, we can live impeccably. Sleep, how much sleep we get, when we go to sleep, sunshine, fresh air, exercise, a whole food vegan diet, nurturing relationships, these can all help us to deal with our emotional vulnerabilities. That doesn't mean that if we have emotional vulnerabilities, it's an indictment because we haven't been doing those things. We have emotional vulnerabilities is probably because we survived trauma. Emotional damage is a trauma response. It is not an indictment. But those are things that can help. Contemplatively, we as vertebrate life forms on this planet, evolved to have both a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system that are correlated with both our inhalation and our exhalation. We are wired by natural selection with each inhalation to notice, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. And with each exhalation to physically relax and mentally release at least a little bit. And so sitting with as good a posture as you can for as many minutes as you can, coordinating your breathing with your noticing and your releasing can be like defragging your computer back in the 90s. It can help a great deal. It's no substitute for those meeting our external needs. And if we are fortunate enough to find a really capable psychiatrist or psychologist, At times that can be beneficial too. These things are not mutually exclusive. They can work together as a team. Meditation is not a substitute for therapy. It can be a useful adjunct, especially if it's practiced in a therapeutic manner. Let's continue. So someone asks, should I breathe in my fears and anxieties and breathe out all those problems? I would not recommend that. I recommend that as we breathe in, simply play with the phrase, notice this. As we breathe out, simply mentally play with the phrase, relaxing. So it is our controlling tendencies do us much more harm than good. By practicing notice this relaxing, we are accessing our pathways devoted to acquiescence. And you might say, well, isn't choosing to notice during the in-breath controlling? No, we're already evolved to notice during the in-breath. By playing with the verbiage, we're just aligning our intention with a pre-existing wiring latent within our autonomic nervous system. So as we breathe in, we notice vulnerably and passively and viscerally and spontaneously. We might notice something external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. Let me adjust this camera here a little bit. That's worthless. Okay, not the camera, not you. So it's a mixed bag of nuts. What are we going to breathe in? What are we going to notice next? I don't know. That's what makes it an adventure, isn't it? Okay. Okay, so someone asked a question, can we do this with aura balls? And it's still trying, so we're trying not to do, we want to do the right thing in the right way. Dealing with what we're going through can be the right thing. We want to do it without indulging our controlling tendencies. So many, many decades ago, when I first began psychic healing, I was a control freak, and I was controlling everything you can. I was trying to control the light and the color of the light and the intensity of the light and the exact pathways the light was going through. And after many, many, many years of practice, I found that just working with intention, that if we just work with intention and let the details leave the, remember there was before any of us were born, there was an advertisement, leave the driving to Greyhound. Well, leave the details to your unconscious. With your conscious, just set intention. So rather than giving a hypothetical, I'm going to walk you through it right now. So together, let's do some metta meditation. We're going to take we're going to do several contemplations right now. So in this present moment, let's play with a rhetorical question. How could this feel stressful? So we've given ourselves permission to notice something uncomfortable. Now we're going to take our natural aversion to that which we feel uncomfortable about and convert that into universal compassion. We're going to do that through the cunning use of a 6-syllable intention. All beings stress, may I soothe. We're only playing with words and breath. Now, you might say, hey, Lama Jigme, you suck. And here's why. Lama Jigme, you suck because you're letting stress guide the experience. The answer is yes. We're practicing in a manner free from the shackles of our own controlling tendencies that we all have, by the way. Do not feel singled out. Let's continue. Our third contemplation is again a rhetorical question. How could this never last? The psychiatrist Dr. Milton Erickson built an entire career out of vagaries. Our unconscious mind loves it when we play with vagaries like this. That's a wonderful vagary. So how could this never last? Do not make the mistakes that I made in the past. In the past, I was so worried about the hypothetical and the theoretical, I forgot about the practical. And in my ignorance, I did not know that there's more to be learned by playing with the practical viscerally than getting lost in the theoretical. For our final of 4 contemplations, how could this not be me? We do not ask that to dabble with metaphysics or to slip into superstition, but merely to grow more and more comfortable with letting go. How could this not be me? Remember, these are rhetorical questions. The secret sauce is not in trying to answer them, but merely in asking them as we notice and relax. And now let's return to the old standby. Notice this, relaxing. Yes, so it's all being stress. So that's you're taking aim, all being stress, that's the subject. What are you going to do with it? Well, you intend to soothe it. How are you going to do that? I don't know. But right now we're not doing magic. We're just playing with our intentions. So all beings stress, may I soothe. And like I said, as this is mentioned, this is already written in the PDF that I'm working with. If you reach out to me through my profile, I'll be happy to send it to you electronically, gratis. Everything I do is free. Notice this, relaxing. I used to pal around with Reverend Allen. He was really enjoyed doing energy work. And during his seminars, he used to assure people that our love can heal. So simply the desire to soothe suffering of another's is therapeutic. The Buddha taught both metta as well as karuna, both loving kindness as well as compassion. So to play with our compassion intention is powerful. Do not take this on blind faith. I'm just some disembodied guy over the internet. Experiment in your own life. Hello, Sylvania Vinia. And Susan Glover, Gus and Glover. Hi. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble reading this. Please don't take it personally. Notice this, relaxing. You are welcome. So, astral projection can be fun. It can be interesting. The Buddha talked about the 7 enlightenment factors. The first of the 7 was mindfulness. There's something very uncomfortable about sitting in one place and being vulnerable to whatever comes up, whatever sensations, flavors, scents, sounds, sights, and the like, whatever emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Just being there, labeling it with the pronoun this, and relaxing as best you can with each exhalation to be here in the midst of the maelstrom is the most effective spiritual practice. Perhaps that is why the late Trungpa Rinpoche coined the phrase Bodhisattva warrior. Not because they were out prancing about the countryside, smacking people up that side of the skull with a shillelagh, but they were conquering their own aversion to the present moment, their own aversion to vulnerability, their own aversion perhaps even to boredom. Thank you for the hearts. Remember, our meditation is, notice this, relaxing. Let me see if I can adjust something here without making too much a mess of things. That might work a little bit better. All right. So, Command 007, welcome aboard. So, during our in-breath, we are mentally reciting 4 syllables. Notice this. During our out-breath, we're mentally reciting, I miscounted, 3 syllables. During our in-breath, the 3 syllables are notice this. During our out-breath, our silent 3 syllables are relaxing. Notice this, relaxing. And if you've joined me on the video app, remember to type your questions in the chat window. Hey, X-Chris, welcome aboard. If you got any questions, don't be shy, just type them. Hello, Emil, welcome. During our in-breath, we're mentally reciting notice this. During our out-breath, we are mentally reciting relaxing. If you have just tuned in, I recommend sucking in your gut as you breathe in and relaxing your gut as you breathe out. Let us seal this evening's practice with 3 chants. The first is impermanence, zeal, and love. May each being take auspicious rebirth, master the Buddha's path, and then help all others do likewise. The second chant is the ethics of kindness. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness flow spontaneous and uncontrived. Let us conclude with a recitation of the 4 immeasurables. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy. May no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. If you feel I have earned it, type something in the chat window, give this live stream a thumbs up, and share it on social media. In approximately 10 2/3 hours, we could return to explore the folly of squandering this precious opportunity. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.